Because I've seen too many people who they had that limited mindset. I can't do it. Well, man, you might be a millionaire, but I'll be good where I'm at. Why? Why can't you see yourself getting there? Strive to be the best. You only on earth for so long. You have a shelf life. Strive to be the best. Don't limit yourself.
Welcome to the Going Long Podcast. We're back once again to continue to help to educate you so that you feel much more comfortable as well as confident investing beyond your backyard. And yes, guess who I am? I'm your host, Billy Keels, and I'm super excited to welcome you back to another amazing conversation today. It's really, really awesome. So I'm sure you're going to get so much out of today's conversation, especially if you are continuing to figure out how you want to go all in on your investing. And so before we get to the conversation, though, there are a couple things that I do like to remind you. First and foremost, that you are part of an amazing family, the Going Long Podcast family. Yes, and you know what? We continue to move up the charts thanks to largely in part because you continue to download the episodes, you continue to share the episodes, you continue to talk about the things that you are hearing from our wonderful guests on each and every conversation. And many, many, many of you want to leave your honest written reviews and ratings. And there are a lot of you that already have done that. And so if you're one of those people that every week you listen to me, or twice a week, I guess at this point, that you're listening to me and you're saying, you know what, I really need to do that. Especially if you are listening on the Apple Podcast platform. Listen, there's a very short video. Just click the video. It'll walk you through it. And you can talk about any of the episodes. You can talk about the things that you like, the things that you love, the things that you want to see and hear us change. This is your platform. So we need your feedback. So just let us know and keep going out there. So that's the first thing. The second thing is a lot of you want to continue to listen to episodes. And I'm going to try and make this really, really clear for everybody. When you want to hear the newest episodes, just go to billykeels.com. When you get there, you will see that there is a podcast tab, right? There's a little bit of jumping around that happens, but go to billykeels.com first and foremost, and then it's going to take you somewhere. And then when you get there, go to the podcast tab and you can listen to every single episode. You can see the video versions, you can listen to the audio versions, just go there and get that done and it'll be awesome. And then also too, a lot of you want to find out more about how you can connect with other accredited investors that are, going through very similar things, enjoying your job, working all the time, and sometimes way, way, way too much. And you also were trying to figure out how in the world do I also continue to do what I enjoy doing, maybe do a little less time and be able to have more control over my life. Well, you want to probably connect with some other accredited investors. If you want to do that, send me an email to aiclub@billykeels.com. Very, very, very unique. A lot of high wage earners, a lot of people that love traveling, that are living in one place, investing in another, very like-minded people and very family-oriented people and people that are just like you. So send me an email. I'll actually get it. And you and I will connect. Talk you about through what the Accredited Investor Club is all about and how you can gain insights into some really, really cool, unique opportunities so that you can really get to the lifestyle that you really want to live faster. So listen, I've kind of talked about these things, but anyway, I know you want to talk about how you can go all in and being able to do that in a way that makes sense for you, for your family. Today, you're going to hear from someone who is a retired military person who's really figured out how to not only gain more control of his life by going in all in. Specifically, he really has started enjoying single family residences. He's done a lot of other things since then, and now he's continuing to build a platform to be able to help bring other people that are both military as well as civilians so that you can get more control over your life. So in just a couple minutes, or actually just a couple seconds, we're going to get to our conversation with Aharon Goins just after this. Are you looking for a way to get to long distance investing success, but not spending all the effort? You want to do it in a way that's much faster and it doesn't cause as much pain? Well, listen, I can save you all of that stress. Just go to billykeels.com/7 mistakes and you can pick up your free PDF to help you on your road to long distance investing success. So you know what? If you want to understand how to find long distance investing success all in homes, then guess what? Today's a conversation that you're going to want to listen to until the very last word. You know why? Because today's guest not only is an Air Force veteran who's on a mission to serve military as well as civilian real estate investors, you know what? He's also served in various states. He's also served in other countries, I think like South Korea, something like that. Maybe he's going to tell us a little bit more about that. He's also worked in the aeronautics industry as a supply chain analyst. And today he is the CEO of All In Homes LLC. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to today's conversation, Mr. Aharon Goins. Aharon, welcome to the show, man.
Man, Billy, man, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so much, man. I'm very, very excited, man. Very, very excited.
Well, that makes two of us because this has been a long time coming. We've been working on figuring out our schedules and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm really, really looking forward to you sharing your story with the Going Long family today. And you know what? The thing is, as you probably know, I know you know this already, I like to ask everybody 5 questions. You're going to get 2 in the beginning. You're going to get kind of 3 in the end. But then in the middle, I actually have no idea what we're going to talk about. But whatever it is, it's going to add lots of positive impact on the Going Long family. So as long as you're ready to get started, I'd like to go ahead and kind of get the conversation moving.
Let's rock and roll.
All right, let's rock and roll, man. So the very first question is, I've kind of told a little bit, but can you help the Going Long family understand where is it that you live in the U.S.?
I live in Tacoma, Washington. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, but went into the military, served 16 years, got early retirement out the Air Force, and got a W-2 job as soon as I got out. And I've remained here in Washington for 12 years. So I live in Tacoma, Washington.
All right, Tacoma, Washington. So from East Coast to West Coast. So that sounds fantastic in the U.S. And so with that, kind of help us also to understand, as the second question is, what's the most positive thing that has happened to you in the last 24 hours?
Just being alive, man. I mean, it's a pleasure. It's God-given. You can't take time is always leaving us. And, I'm just appreciative for what God has given me, man. So I'm just real appreciative to be alive, to be a dad, and have an opportunity every day to move forward in life.
I absolutely love that, Aaron. And it's one of those things that we don't have to look really, really far beyond. And many days is if you can wake up and you're healthy and happy. And sometimes if you're just healthy, that is such a gift. And so I appreciate you recognizing that. And it's fantastic. So I want to, here's 2 things. First and foremost, as you mentioned, 16-year service, I really would like to thank you, and also on behalf of the Going Long family, for your service and everything that you did and continue to do. So appreciate that very much.
Thank you very much.
And you know what? The other thing is with that, like every single week, the Going Long family, or twice a week, the Going Long family, they kind of listen to me talk and introduce guests. And today you're our special guest. And I tried to do the best of my ability, knowing that I give myself this impossible task of trying to give your backstory in like 2.5 seconds. Ain't going to ever happen, right? So they always forgive me. I hope you can forgive me, but more importantly, you can help me by telling us your backstory in your own words. And Aaron, if you could also too, while you're telling us the backstory, if you could really think about some of the really important decisions that you've made to get to this point in your journey, and then we'll see where we take the conversation from there.
Yeah. So, as I said, I served 16 years in the military, and when I got out, like I said, I got a W-2 job. I'm still working there currently. And, it was hunky-dory when I was in. And then one day a coworker said, Aaron, you're going to be at this job for another 20 years. And I said, no, I'm not. And that's when my entrepreneur spirit came. I started getting into different entrepreneur things like market level marketing. I know a lot of people have done that, drop shipping a little bit. But eventually I got into real estate and started to wholesale a little bit, got into a little Airbnb, but then started focusing on multifamily. Got and one thing too is, and I always emphasize this, at the time I was still living in an apartment during this whole time frame. And one day I was at a local meetup here, and a guy said, "Hey man, you was in the military." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Why don't you not use your benefits? Why don't you use your VA loan?" And I was like, "Why are you not using it?" I couldn't answer the question. So, and he kept on peppering me about it. I said, "You know what? I'm going to use it, man." And I would say about 6 months later, I used my VA loan, got my duplex where I'm living in right now. And I've been on a mission ever since to really talk to veterans about using their benefits. Because, you fought for your country, you serve in your country, use the benefits that you've been given. So that's been really my journey with that. And also, just understanding, learning much about real estate as much as possible. I have a mentor coach now who's helping me out, and got into different groups and, just networking as much as possible and loving it.
Fantastic. So you know what, when you can think about kind of that you continue to expand your network, you're getting involved, you have a clear focus in terms of who you want to be able to serve. It's something that you've done from the very beginning. As you mentioned, you served your country for 16 years directly, and continue to do that in a number of different ways. One of the things that really struck me about what you said is you were serving 16 years and someone said that you had 20 years, another 20 years, and you said to yourself, no, I don't. Well, a lot of times people you would have been in your position and said, okay, well, yeah, it's only another 20 years and then I get my benefits for the rest of my life and all this other kind of stuff. So what do you think it was that was in you that made you think, no, I don't think I'm going to do this for another 20 years. I'm not doing that. Because it's not in everybody, right?
Yeah. So I just had a mindset shift during that time frame, because I was like, man, like it's 20 years seems so long. I mean, like there's nothing wrong with my job, and at all, but I felt like that's not just life. There's more than life than that. And why can't I explore something for myself to not only, work for myself, but also build a legacy for me and my family? So that's why I started getting into different things and start really opening my mind to different possibilities after that. So, it took me a journey. But I start reading different things, started, meeting more people, start going to meetups of different kinds, not just real estate, but just different kinds, and being around different people and seeing their lifestyles and talking to people who have been very, very successful in their field. So, and that really just opened my mind even more and gave me the hope that I can do the same at some point.
So being able to do the same at some point, right? It's part of a journey, and you're sharing a bit of that journey with us right now, Aaron. Mm-hmm. But as I'm listening to you, it sounds very similar to a track that I went on, right? I spent a lot of time working in the corporate world, and I was in very much middle management, and I worked across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. I worked and traveled throughout some 86 different countries, and there was kind of this path that I was going down. And I was losing control. And so I decided to start investing in real estate, and I started in real estate. But what that did, and it sounds very similar that you were on a journey because you knew something was inside, it just opened my mind to the possibilities of doing other things. Then I started investing in, things that were not related to real estate. And so I think a lot of people can relate to what you're talking about, but maybe you can take us a little bit more deeper into that journey, because you said that you were involved in different types of masterminds and coaching and networking. But you said one of the things that they weren't all real estate. So maybe help us explore a little bit more of this path of, once your mind started opening, kind of what things were you exposed to?
That's a good question, man. I love it. So when I started going to level marketing and started to be around certain people and start listening to the tapes that they have, and actually meeting some of the top people, that gave me hope. That like, man, you know what? I can do it. If they can do it, why can't I? If they've been a successful path, why can't I? If they have failed many, many times but picked themselves up and got to the point where they are right now, why can't I? So and then actually going to drop shipping and talking to a couple people here and there. I got out. When I'm doing drop shipping, it was really quick because it's supposed to be a partnership, and my two partners kind of did not was not all in like I was. So that kind of dropped quickly. But and for real estate, going to the real estate meetups that I've been to around here in the Seattle region, I've met some very successful people that flew in from other states to talk. A guy named Tar Yarber, he's on Bigger Pockets and things like that. He had his meetups, and that really exposed me to a lot of people who are doing really big things in real estate. And then I went to one of his conferences and volunteered at one of his conferences. So I really met some people like Ashley Wilson, Lika, and others, and that really just motivated me even more. Saying, man, you know what? Why can't Aaron do it? I know everybody goes through pain. It's adversity. Everybody has adversity in your life, but it's the people who pick themselves up and continue to go that are going to be successful. And like I said, I know I've said before, but why can't I do the same thing?
Yeah, and when you ask, it depends a lot what questions you're asking yourself, right? And to your point, it's not what are other people doing, is why could I not do that? Or what do I have to do in order to be able to do the same thing? And it's very similar. The other day, I think it was the day before yesterday, we made a post, and it's one of those things also too. It's not that you fall down 19 times. The important thing is that you get up the 20th time and that you continue to move forward. Right. And that is a lot. It has a lot to do with mindset. And what I want the Going Long family to really listen to what you're saying is, yes, you found this path, which is real estate. And we're going to come back to that. But many times it's not the only path. There are other like ancillary paths that can really feed into whatever your overall life vision is or your overall life goal. And to your point, one of the vehicles that allows you to get there can be real estate. And speaking of vehicles, I want to come back to one of the other things that you said in the very beginning. You said that one of your colleagues had mentioned to you that they asked you the question, like, are you using your VA loan? And it seemed like it just kind of went a little bit blank. And I think that happens a lot. But I'm just curious, first and foremost, when he talked to you about the VA loan, did you even have any idea what he was talking about?
No.
Okay.
For the most part, no.
Okay, perfect. So appreciate that. And I love your honesty, number one. Number two, after that, kind of what happened? Because he was talking to you about something that you didn't know anything about. And it sounded like it took a couple months. I think you said 6 months before you actually went forward. But talk to us about the time that he talked to you about this concept that you'd never heard about before to the time that you actually took action. What took place? So
I always talk about this on my meetup. I always say that, when in my circles, no one talked about real estate. No one talked about the VA loan. That's not talked about. Finances aren't really talked about in the military. A lot of times, people going through high school, they don't have financial classes. NCOs, commissioned officers don't have the time to really talk to people about finances. So I think that's a missing void that we have in the military, and not just in the military, but in life. People don't talk about finances as much. So I just went along my way. I never used it. 60 years, I never used it. I know many, many people who have never used it. And that's why I've said I've been very hardcore about that, because once I realized the benefits of it and how not only I can buy a house, but maybe down the road build generational wealth. We know, Billy, people who have used a VA loan to build generational wealth or have passive income coming in. The more I digged in, the more I was like, man, I got to use it. And the 6 months was just because I just couldn't find the right property. That took the long. I think I was all ready to roll in less than a month, but it took me a while to find that right property that I really wanted during that time frame, and then just going through the inspection and things like that. But that really just motivated me, that somebody who wasn't a military guy, but he knew about the VA loan, talked to me, and it was like, man, like, and that's what I always emphasize now. Use what you have. A lot of us, not just military. A lot of people don't use what they have. A lot of us go do training classes and different things like that, but we don't use the benefits. We don't come back to them. We don't review our notes and things like that for whatever reason. So a lot of benefits or research that we have done in the past goes to waste.
So, and it definitely it can go to waste if we don't go back, review, take up on the actions that we have written down when we were in a meeting or on a Zoom call or whatever the case, or you're learning just a new word. Like that happened to me all the time. And I think part of it is having a curious mind, speaking 5 languages, you get out there and you're like, hey, listen, this is something I've never heard before. And so speaking of which, I don't want anybody to get left behind, because you mentioned a term NCO. What does that mean?
Non-commissioned officer.
Okay, a non-commissioned officer. So if you're listening to that, you can rewind and go back and just to make sure, because it's very similar to when you talked about before, a VA loan. Like if you've never heard of it, you're like, well, hang on a second, I can't action anything unless I actually know what you're talking about. So VA loan was a foreign concept. I'd not heard NCO, but now me and the entire Going Long family knows that that's a non-commissioned officer, and so you can understand more about what you were talking about before. But
one thing too about that. Let me just add this one point on.
Please.
Only 22% of all veterans, we have like 19.5 million veterans in the United States, use their tuition assistance for college. that were given as military members. And only 15% of all veterans use a VA loan. So remember, just look at it, 19.5 million veterans, only 15% use a VA loan.
Wow. What's that quick math? That's like 6 million, something like that. So, wow. It's 85% away from who should be using it or could be using it. I guess it's probably the better way to look at it. But then when you're thinking about this, the way that you frame this conversation is one that doesn't matter really what area you are working in or doing. It's a tool. And number one, you have to understand that the tool exists. So whether it's a VA loan or it's a specific type of loan or it's a specific type of vehicle that allows you to get whatever result you want to get. Number one, you have to know that it exists. So you have to be in the right areas, the right rooms. And it sounds like that's what you were doing. And then secondly, you have to be not afraid to take action on it. So maybe you could talk to us a little bit about, now that you started learning that, I know that one of the ways that you continue to pay things forward is you've taken what you learned, you've put it into practice to go out and have your own properties, getting closer to your own goals, your own dreams, starting to build that generational wealth. But talk to us a little bit also too about how are you engaging with more both veterans, military, as well as civilians. Talk to us about how you're getting your word out and how you're connecting and helping to bridge those gaps of new terms, new words, and those tools that maybe a lot of people don't know even exist to help them today.
Okay. So let me give you a backstory about the VA loan first. The VA loan is a no money down loan that you can use to buy 1 to 4 units. So that's why it's so valuable for us. You don't find that in civilians using that, but it's a benefit that we have as a military members is that you don't have to pay for everything, maybe some couple closing costs, something like that. But if you have a disability, you might not even pay for closing costs. So the VA loan can be very, very effective to at least buy a 1 unit.
And that's for 1 to 4 units. And of course, everybody in what we're talking about, these are examples and these are cases that Aaron's talking about. Of course, you want to talk to your own team members. I'm sure Aaron will even give you an opportunity to reach out to him so he can tell you more about his experience when we're done here with the conversation. But just to make sure I also understand. So this is for active as well as veterans. Is that correct?
Yes.
Active service members as well as retired. Okay. Yes. Fantastic. And 1 to 4 unit. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why that's such a valuable tool that you can use to, not only buy a house for you and your family, but also, start building generational wealth if you use it the right way. Because check this out, Billy, all you got to do is live there 1 year. You can move out after that 1 year and turn that VA loan to a conventional loan and use it again the next year. So just imagine in 4 years, you can have 4 fourplexes and, you can have 16 tenants or 15 tenants if you live in one of them. So that's the value of the VA loan. And this, there's some things that you should do, like, hire a property manager or something like that, because what a lot of people do is some people do in the military, they use a VA loan and then they PCS or they go to another duty station, but they still have that property at the original duty station. So there's a lot of nuances with that.
You have to let us know. PCS, what does that mean?
So PCS means they're moving from one location to another. So they're going from one base to another. So they're So that's what PCS means. So,
okay.
But yeah, so that's the whole gist of it. But going back to your original question, I have my own meetup. It's called All In on Real Estate, and I interview people like yourself every week, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time to talk about the different nuances, the different niches in real estate to educate people. And then I put everything on my YouTube page. I also have a clubhouse room, and it's all about education. I'm always trying to educate people. So I have moderators on my clubhouse room, and they have different specialties they're into in real estate, and we try to educate people as much as possible. So I make myself accessible to people. I go to meetups, other people's meetups. I'm always talking about, my meetup or talking about the military to talk to people as much as possible about it. So a lot of people reach out to me, and, I try to give them some help as much as possible. So, and you don't have to be military to talk to me. I try to give them as much information as possible. Put stuff on social media posts and things like that to help out as much as possible. Because I want people to start their own path to build generational wealth for them and their families.
Wow, don't you just love this conversation? This is amazing. This is fantastic. And so just really quickly, I just wanted to remind you, for those of you that are looking to create more options for yourself, get there faster, and do that with long distance investing, make sure that you go to billykeels.com/7 mistakes to avoid so that you can avoid all those mistakes, get to your goals faster and sooner. Once again, that's billykeels.com/7 mistakes to avoid. Now back to the conversation. And why are you so passionate about that? Because you've mentioned generational wealth and being able to do that, and you're working towards that. You're working to help other people. What drives that passion in you for that?
Because I've seen too many people who they had that limited mindset. I can't do it. I have a best friend who we had a long discussion about that. Well, man, you might be a millionaire, but I'll be good where I'm at. Why can't you see yourself getting there? It doesn't have to be real estate. It could be something else. But strive to be the best. You only on earth for so long. You have a shelf life. Strive to be the best. Don't limit yourself. And I see too many people limit themselves because of their own insecurities, maybe fears. I don't know, but I think that we all should strive to do that, and then also pay it back and pass on to other people. And finally, you have a family. Why don't you have a legacy, build a legacy so that it passes on to the next generation? I mean, it's crazy. Look at the Rockefellers. John G. Rockefeller has been dead for over 100 years, but his because of his trust, they still donate billions of dollars every year because of the hard work he did, and then the instructions he had in his trust. Because a lot of times, generational wealth is gone in 3 generations, but because of what they did, they still pass it down wealth to another generation. It's awesome.
Yeah, and when you see those other patterns, right? Because success leaves clues, as they say all the time. And so, use a perfect example or an excellent example. I don't know if it's a perfect one, but it's a really good example of when you understand what you can do, not only to generate, but to preserve and accelerate your wealth and have it to live on. Also, part of that is making sure that you're in the right rooms with the right people, getting the right bits of information. I grew up most of my life having had no clue. I had these misperceptions of what trust funds and trust fund babies were and all that other kind of stuff. But so also what I see you doing in the way that you are leveraging both social media to connect with people online, as well as what it sounds like you're doing now is also to connecting with people offline. It just allows you to share the things that you're learning. And as you continue to learn and grow, then those that are around you and with you continue to learn and grow as well. But one of the other things that you mentioned, you said you definitely have a focus on and a mission to be able to serve military people, either that they are active or retired. But you also said that you want to be able to share this information with civilians as well. And I'm just curious, as you're interacting with civilians versus in this specific instance, military, what are some of the different, maybe some of the differences that you see in terms of being able to interact or helping that individual move forward maybe faster?
I love the questions. I love the questions, man. I love it. I think when you talk to the military people, there's a different mindset because of what they did, how they served. So I can resonate with them and give them like a little example of different things. Like, hey, have you served overseas and blah, blah, blah. And then I can give them an example of how, like, in Europe, the roads are smaller in the United States. The food is smaller, things like that. I can get somebody to laugh about, right? And then tell a story and then say, man, how about you travel the world? How about you start doing this so you can travel the world more? And it resonates with them because they travel the world. They've seen different things. Why not do it more? With a civilian, a lot of times, some people, as you know, Billy, some people don't. They live 20 miles away from where they was born at a lot of times. So it's a different thing. But and then when you ask a lot of people, I'm surprised, but that's my life. A lot of people don't travel what you think they would. Most people have not gone outside the United States. A lot of people have not traveled and seen 40 states or 30 states, in their own little world. So, you got to really just get to the point where you can talk to them about certain things. So if somebody, like for instance, I was stationed in Montana and both my kids were born there. So if I say, if they are from Montana or something like that, I'm like, the first thing I say, man, you from Big Sky Country, man? Wow. What school do you like? Like Montana State and Montana. And you can see people like, oh, you've been to Montana before? Yeah. So, it's you just really got to find that common theme. And then once you get that common theme, it's just like talking to somebody in the military. You just go from there and you open some eyes up. But I'll tell you, I know you've been through this, and so many people told me this. So many people came to me and asked me for help or what should I look at, and they never come back. And then when you ask them, hey, how you been? Oh, I've been going through life, and okay. But you don't want people to drain you, but you want to help people as much as possible. But you understand that they got to start their own journey. Like you said, you got to take massive action, and a lot of times people don't.
Yeah, it is one of those things. It really does come down to each individual's ability to take action. You can have all the theory in the world, you can have the best intentions in the world, but unless you are willing to probably not look very good the first couple of times you try something and maybe make some mistakes. And I put my hand up. Look, I'm a recovering perfectionist. And so I used to think I wanted to do things perfectly the first time. And when I started realizing that the only way that I could impact more lives positively was getting out of my own way, recognizing I'm going to make a lot of mistakes in the beginning. And then afterwards, you're going to learn, you're going to figure out what it is that you need to fix so that you can move forward faster, collect and be surrounded by those individuals that are going to help you move forward. Then you can also help them move forward. It all makes sense. And the thing that I also want the Going Long family to really pay attention to what you've just talked about was, yes, as you have your military, you had your military career, and there's a lot of things that you really understand. It's because you have a shared common background. It's just like when I speak to a lot of people who are IT sales professionals. We've been in those same situations and leading teams across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, or maybe you've traveled to 86 countries. So what I love that you're saying to us, and it's just reinforcing a message, Aaron, is once again, it's what are the tools that you have to be able to go out and connect with others, build relationships, and then those relationships will go beyond, so many different things, whether you're a civilian or you've been in the military or are still active in the military. So,
right.
Sorry, did you want to say something else? Go ahead.
Well, yeah. Well, just looking at real estate, for instance, like I tell people about Maurice Philogene and about how he built wealth because he used a VA loan. Or I can talk to people about women, about Ashley Wilson, about her book, Only Woman in the Room, and that would resonate with people. Or I talk to people about AJ Osborne, who I've talked to, who has an incredible story about the trials and tribulations he's been through his life. So, I can always adapt to the person is, because I can always tell stories about people I've met personally and what they've gone through in their life.
And the reason that you can do that is because you continue to push yourself outside of whatever your comfort zone is. You specifically, Aaron, because you're meeting new people and you're consistently pushing outward, elevating what you know and also your network, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. I guess before we kind of get into the Going Long final three, I am just also curious, because I know you work with a lot of different people, and a number of people are investors, and people are still looking to either invest themselves directly or indirectly. But what are some of the things that you've seen from people that are wanting to invest, but they just kind of feel a little bit stuck? I think you alluded to a little bit of it earlier, but maybe you could just drill down on it. What gets people that want to invest either directly or indirectly, passively, actively, and they just can't seem to move forward? They're stuck. What's the biggest thing you see?
I think it's fear, man. I think it's fear of an unknown, fear of, oh man, I don't know about my money. I've worked so hard on my money. Is this the right deal for me? I want to get into it, but people get real tight-fisted during that opportunity. And also people don't syndicate enough, don't come together. They always want to hold on to the whole piece of pie instead of knowing that the power of coming together, you can achieve so much more. So I think I think it goes back to mindset, man. It really does, because yes, you're going to take a chance if you're going to invest your money into something. It's a chance. There's no guarantees in life. So so you you're going to take a chance. But if you do your background, and you got to take out the noise, because you can always hear horror stories. Man, don't get in, or people saying, don't get into that, don't get in that, don't get in that. Well, if you listen to everybody else, you're gonna be broke like everybody else. And then number 2 is, like I said, find like-minded individuals and be around them. Sometimes you might gotta cut people out your inner circle if they're naysayers and not going where you like to get to where you want to go to. And then maybe when you get someone, you can pick them up or something like that. But sometimes you gotta cut the noise out and really be laser focused, and then look for others who are doing the same path. They're going the same path that you're going, and maybe join forces. And like I said, the potential is unlimited if you have like-minded individuals around you.
And, with that, as you start talking about like-minded individuals, and sometimes you do have to make very difficult decisions in your life. If you want to move in a particular direction, and that direction is being impeded because the people that you knew before don't want you to go there, you're going to have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I want the goal enough, or do I just want to keep doing the same stuff that I'm doing, hanging out with the same people? So that's a part of the process. I know that you've done that type of thing as well, Aaron, and you've created you continue to create a group of like-minded people that want to move in the right direction. I would love for you to tell us just a little bit more about your meetup that you do, the virtual meetup that you do specifically, and then we're going to get into the Going Long Final 3.
So, like I said, it's every Thursday at 7 p.m. and I look for people who have different niches in real estate. I wanted to be a well-rounded meetup. I know I'm in multifamily, commercial multifamily, but I wanted to have a meetup where anybody can watch. So anybody can go to my YouTube page, look at it, and say, oh, you know what? Dang, I might want to get into short-term rentals. Or dang, that tax lien deeds look pretty good. I might got to reach out to that person. Or man, that self-storage looks pretty good. So I want to make well-rounded so that anybody can look at it, watch the video, see me interview somebody, and say, I can maybe go down that path. Hey, Aaron, can I talk to that person? Sure. Or they just want to go down that path, because I feel like you had to be educated first, and you had to have that something that has to get you. And I tell people all the time, if you want to get in real estate, you got to find one niche that you have a passion for, or really like to say you're doing, and go down that path. And don't be the shiny light guy like I was for so long.
Yeah, those shiny objects can really blind you and keep you from moving forward for quite a while. So, and just again, that's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on where you are in the world, just to make sure that you're there. And it also sounds like once those sessions take place, you can find them over on your YouTube page. So I appreciate you sharing that, Aaron. And you know what? Like, thing is, we got to kind of get into the Going Long Final 3. But the thing is, because you are our special guest for this week, I never ask anyone the Going Long Final 3. And as I said, you're our special guest, so I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to make this the first conversation unless you tell me that you're ready for me to ask you. So, Aaron, are you ready?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, man. You were born ready. So here we go. So we started with you over in Tacoma, Washington. I want to bring it back to this side of the pond, because although I'm from Columbus, Ohio, I now call Barcelona, Spain my home. So I would love for you to share with us, what is your favorite European city that you've either visited or is still on your bucket list to visit, Aaron?
Man, I've been there many times. I love London, man. That's my favorite international city. I've been there. I love the atmosphere, the food, just being in that city. I just love London.
All right, London, another vote for London. I'm actually going to be there by the time this goes live. I will have already been there, but I'm going at least 2 times this year that I know of. So in this year, 2022. So appreciate you sharing that with us. And then here's the next question. The question number 2 really has a lot to do with the very good fortune that I've had to understand and meet a lot of very successful people. And Aaron, I consider you to be someone who is very successful. You're continuously going out, impacting other people's lives. And the thing is as I've seen a lot of successful people, one of the things that really separates successful people from everybody else, Aaron, is that successful people, unlike most, when they put their mind to something and they want to go out and do it, the very first time that they put their mind or their action to things, they get it right. And they are then able to get and move people. Did I just say that? I think I just said that. Hang on a second. No, Aaron, don't worry, man. It's a joke. It's a joke. it's an inside joke. Everybody here, you got to watch this because Aaron's face, he's like, "Oh my gosh, Billy, no, it's a joke." Everybody knows this. We're part of the inside joke. The Going Long family knows about this, and so don't worry. So that part is kind of a joke. So listen, the reality is, Aaron, everybody makes mistakes, even successful people. Like the reality is, successful people, they make a whole lot more mistakes than most people, like probably 20 to 50 times more mistakes than everybody else. So the question was kind of a joke. But the reality is the people that are successful, and this is no joke, like this is not a joke. They do one thing very, very differently. Every single time they do this differently. Any single time that a successful person makes a mistake, especially one that's relevant and impactful, without a doubt, every single time they stop. They learn from the mistake. They then put different strategies, tactics, and actions in place to minimize the probability of that exact same mistake happening again. So, Aaron, I don't want you to think about the mistake today, or maybe you call it a learning opportunity. I don't really care. But you get the point. But more importantly than what happened, what's the one lesson that you know that someone in the Going Long family needs to hear today to help them minimize the probability of that exact same thing happening to them? What's the one lesson we need to know today?
I think that you have to really be resilient. Like I said earlier, we have adversity thrown at us. Everybody has adversity. I don't care how successful you are, you're going to have adversity. I don't care if you made so many mistakes and you're now on a successful path, adversity will come. For instance, if you're doing real estate, you might have a pipe bust at your property or something like that. You might have whatever happens, but you got to be resilient and understand that those things will come to pass. But your mindset and your belief has to stay focused on your goals, and write down your goals every day, and talk about them. Talking about people. For instance, Billy, I have all my goals, my year goals on my wall. So when I wake up, there's my goals right there. I see it every day. So things are going to happen in your life, but you got to be resilient and keep that laser focus.
Absolutely, being resilient. Love that. And this is something that I am sure we are going to be writing down, like you have your goals written on your walls, and we'll be able to look at them, continue to be consistent, resilient, and continue to move forward. So, and this is going to kind of wrap us up. This is question number 3, Aaron. And it really is about helping us to fill the brain with knowledge. So help us understand, what is the one book that you would recommend to the Going Long family today?
This is several good books I read. I'm probably going to say The One Thing. That's a very, very good book, because it just gets you in that belief that just keep that focus on one thing. If you can focus on one thing at a time, that's really going to help you out, because you can be scatterbrained by having all these different tasks you got to do. But if you keep on one thing, one path, one focus, you're going to be very, very successful.
Fantastic. So we'll make sure that we include that in the show notes as well. So The One Thing, we get another vote. Amazing, absolutely amazing book. Agree with you there, and really appreciate you sharing that. And so, one of the things about hosting this show is I get to ask so many questions and get to speak to so many experts like yourself, Aaron. But the thing is, I always get sad because these conversations go by so fast. Like I can't believe we're already done, man. It feels like we just started like 30 seconds ago. So
I know, right?
Yeah, man. But and I start thinking about you in the 16 years of service that you had, and that conversation that you had that person was like 20 years, and you're like, what? I don't, even though you didn't say it out loud, you're thinking to yourself, I can't really see this going on for another 20 years. And so so from that, it really gave you the impetus to go out and start to look at different areas, and you wanted to find out more about short-term rentals, wholesaling, and you got kind of dabble in a number of different things. And then you had a conversation with somebody that told you about a tool that you had never heard of, the VA loan. And then you went from there, and you got started right away. You were ready in a month, and then maybe 6 months later is when you finally got started into that. But you were looking and you were going through your due diligence and taking the knowledge that you were learning. And not only did you get started on your path to building generational wealth, you've also realized that it's no fun just to go by yourself. And it's about how can you also help to impact other people, whether they're military, civilian, or wherever they are in their life, is really to be able to continue to expand your network. You're doing that. You've got your different social media channels. You have the meetups that you host every week, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is phenomenal. And I know that there are so many people that are like, wow, man, Aaron, I love this story, man. I want to really figure out, how can I find out more about what it is that you're doing, Aaron? How can I find out more about your company? So help the Going Long family and help us understand, what is the best way for the Going Long family to reach out and contact you?
You can always find me on LinkedIn. You can message me on LinkedIn. Just look at my name, Aharon Goins. You can find me on Instagram.
Hey, Aaron, will you spell your name, because it's unique, which means that the entire Going Long family will be able to find you very easily?
Okay. So it's Aaron, but it's the H inside. So it's Aharon. My mom will be a little bit different. Goins. I'm the only Aharon Goins in the world. So Aharon Goins. You can find me at All In Homes, ALLINHS.com. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, Aharon Goins as well. So, and then you can always email me to aaron.goins@gmail.com. So there's the places you can find me at.
All right,
I would love to talk to you and have a conversation. And we can talk about overseas too, man. I've been overseas, man. I've been to Europe and Japan and, Korea. So yeah,
Which will be phenomenal. And one of the things I do want to ask of the Going Long family, and I ask you every single time, so especially on LinkedIn, because you have the possibility to make it a personalized invitation. When you reach out to Aaron, will you please just remind him that you've already invested time and energy listening or watching us, or probably both, knowing the Going Long family. You probably watched the video version and you've listened, but just making that connection a bit more authentic. It's going to help you and Aaron continue the conversation, because it's going to help him also recognize that, yes, you've already invested time. He knows what the conversation was about, and you can continue to move forward faster. So, with that, Aaron, listen, like I said, man, this was a long time coming. I really appreciate you investing your time with me and the entire Going Long family. And thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. Thank you so much.
Man, thank you, Billy, man. It's been a pleasure, man. I love it. Thanks so much, man.
All right, fantastic. If you give me like 15 seconds just to wrap things up with the Going Long family, I would appreciate it. So listen, Going Long family, you just had a chance to hear from Mr. Aharon Goins, A with the H in the middle, Aaron. So listen, he's really reaching out. He's continuing to grow his tribe, connecting people, military, civilians, and just continuing to help move along and move in the path forward to building generational wealth, connecting and surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. He's giving you ways to contact him. Take him up on the offer, reach out to him, make that connection, let him know that the Going Long family, we like to take action here. And listen, I'm sure if you're out in the Tacoma, Washington area, he'd love to meet up with you. He's into that kind of stuff, connecting with people. So with that stated, I'm really looking forward to welcoming you back on the very next conversation. So until then, go out and make it a great day. And thank you very much. Wow. Don't you love hearing from top-notch experts in the field? When I was getting started, I really wish that I would have had access to such experts. And even more, I wish they would have given me like a really simple list of things to follow so that I could have gotten to my goals much faster and been much happier even sooner. So that's why I've created for you the 7 things that you should avoid in order to be successful in long distance investing. And you can pick that up really easily by going to billykeels.com/7 things to avoid. And also, if you liked today's episode, don't forget to leave a 5-star review. I'm looking forward to seeing you on our very next episode, so go out and make it a great day.